proper ball position with every club in your bag can be the difference between a great day and I want to quit the game forever. See, take a look at this. This is proper ball position shot here. That's when I had it in the proper spot and hit a good shot. This is just slightly too far back and you don't really realize it. Well, there you go. Just too far back and I missed way right. And here's what happens if it's too far forward, same club, you don't even realize how far forward it is. Not bad, but a little bit left. And if you don't know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then you're gonna start messing with your swing when all you really have to do is just move the ball to the correct location. How do we know the correct location? First thing I want you to do is go out and get yourself a 48-inch long T-square. Metal, wood, I don't care. Get something that you can measure so you know exactly where you are every single time. We've got to have a perfect way to get, let's say, calibrated so that we're the same every single time so that we know where everything goes. So we're gonna start with our wedges. Where do they go and where do our mid irons go? Long irons, fairway woods, driver, even our putter. And at the end of the video, two things are gonna happen. One, I'm going to reveal the name of my new gaming putter, the Good putter here. You guys have voted from a previous video, so I will tell you the name that got all the votes. So that's coming up. 2, I'm going to give you the simplest, easiest drill using this stuff we're using today that's going to shave the most strokes off your game the fastest. So there you go. You're welcome. First things first, where do we put the ball in our wedge setup? Take your stance. We want to find the center of where we're standing. So, okay, this is about where I like to be when I hit a wedge shot. Perfect. So, outside of my foot is on 0, and the outside of this foot is 20 inches. That makes life easy. So, the center of my stance is going to be perfect at 10 inches. Well, there you go, 10 inches. So, the ball goes right at 10 inches. I want my wedges perfectly in the center of my stance. That's exactly where I want sand wedge, gap wedge, lob wedge, pitching wedge, 9-iron. 9-iron through the highest lofted club. I really want to play right in the center of my stance. It's important to note that you get your measurement with both feet straight. Now I would turn that foot out, because if I turn it out, now it's around 23, but I didn't really move it out, I just flared it out. Don't measure with a flared out toe, because then that would be, 23, now I'm around 12.5 inches, would be center. That's way too far forward. Measure it with your foot straight for every club, then flare it out. So I got 10 inches, and that's the center of my stance. That's where I want to practice hitting shots from. Everything feels perfect right there. Now I've got a 7-iron in my hand, so 8-iron, 7, 6, 5 irons are all going to be in this position. It's important to note that when you set up, you're going to have a bit wider stance now, just because you're hitting a longer club. So I'm going to set up the exact same way. This is what I like for normal 7-iron setup right here. And my foot is no longer at 20. We're at 25. So 12.5 inches. So I put the ball at 12.5. That's center of my stance. Now I just flare out my foot. Perfect. Now I'm good. Now I feel good. 7-iron is perfectly in the center of my stance, but for me, that's a little too far back. As I get to these mid-irons, I want a little more forward. So I know 12.5 is center. I want to go 1 inch forward of that. So that's going to be 13 and a half. And that's great. That's where I want that 7-iron, one ball or 1 inch forward of center. That's going to be just your standard mid-iron shot right there. And then I really want you to practice a few shots like that because everybody's slightly different. You might need to go, instead of 13, you might need to go a little bit more forward from where you're comfortable for your straight shot. But you want to know exactly where your, let's say, stock shot lives in terms of ball position. Because everybody's going to set up slightly different, so I don't want to box you in at a specific number, but feel it out so that when you hit a good shot, you're getting the straightest possible shot. So now we're 4-iron, and this is going to be 4-iron fairway woods. These are all going to live about in the same location. We're going to go through the same process of setup. We're going to have a little bit wider stance. Beautiful. I'm at 26, so 13 inches would be center. I want you to go 3 inches forward to 16. And here's a great thing to do. Put it on your left eye and just see where that lands. 16, that's perfect. What do you know? Perfect. So that's where I want my mid-irons, really on my left eye. So it's gonna be a little bit, a few inches forward. That's long irons and most fairway woods. Now driver's gonna be a little bit different. And I'm guessing that with driver, this drill, this kind of setup method is going to reveal a lot of things to you that you didn't realize were happening. Set this up. You're gonna have your widest stance, a little wider than shoulder width. I love it. 30 inches. Great, so 15 is center. You're gonna set that at 15 and you're gonna say, wow, I set up in the center. Whoops. And then you do, like, you're gonna see these things. Here's where I want it to be with your driver setup. I want you to put it on your left ear. That's where we want. Set up and just drop it a few times, hopefully straight down, just touching that ear. All right, that's where I want to be. Just drop it straight down. See what inch it's on. 19, 20. Okay, so now I know this is where I need to set up. It's like at 19/20 inches. That's where you need to have it set up. Okay, wow. That feels different than what I'm used to, and it will most likely feel different than what you're used to, but that's a really good, perfect setup on your left ear, and you can get consistent with that because you practice it perfectly with that ruler. Ooh. And don't feel bad if you start hitting some bad shots right away out of the gate because you're making changes to your ball position, but you're getting better. Now, let's get on the putter and see what we can do there. Okay, so the good putter is in the bag. Its name, I didn't want to name it this, but you guys voted. Its name will be Destiny. That's just, everybody was like, it has to be Destiny. I get you. Okay, cool. The only difference is I'm gonna use my Scotty Cameron custom shop club head cover on it instead of the powder baby blue. This thing's super cool and whatever, so that fits. I like it, I like that. How do we set up for putter? All right, we're going to go through the same exact process. All I want to do is get my same stance, my putter stance, perfect. That's where I like to be, me, perfect, right there. Ideally, we want the putter right over our eyes, middle of our eyes. My stance is around 18, and I drop that right at 9, so I know I'm hitting the center. So that is where the middle is. What does that do for your putting stroke? Well, when you're able to have that swing arc bottom out at the same spot every single time, you're gonna get a consistent strike on that golf ball. If we get the ball position off, then our strike comes too soon or too late, and the roll or the flight gets altered because we're not consistent in where and how we strike the ball. It's gonna help you get a good strike on that ball most times. Now I'm going to give you the drill that's going to save your life on the golf course. This is why that metal and thinner T-square is more valuable than, let's say, a wooden one or a thicker one. It's because of this. Here's what you're going to do. we're gonna set that putter stance up, and I'm gonna put that ball right on that 9-inch number, right in the middle of this guy. The most critical part of putting is the first 3 feet. We got 39 inches of roll that I want to get that ball to roll on this all the way off to that. If I can start that ball every single time perfectly on line for the first 3 feet, 1, you're never going to miss another 3-footer. 2, you're going to make a whole lot of 10-footers, and you start 20-footers on line and you read them right, you got a good chance. So I know my setup, I know everything's perfect. I want to hover right over this guy right here, and here's what I can see. If I take it too far inside, it's probably going to roll off the right. The opposite is true. If you take that putter back outside, you're probably going to miss on the left side, and it's not going to stay on the T-square the entire time. So on these little guys, I want to be right over. I want to take it back pretty straight, right? You can see everything so perfectly. Take it back straight. Oh, that was good. That's your drill. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. See you in the next video. Come on, Destiny.